Well, I think we saw it many years ago when evolution really started kicking in and that feminine energy started kind of sweeping through the planet, and it was very much women's empowerment, and all the women were being activated and they were going through their process. And I feel like in this particular time, that's what needed to happen first. And now as we've gone along, there's this feeling, this like intuitive sense of, oh, it's our turn now. It's our turn to look at our stuff. It's our turn to take responsibility for the emotional baggage that isn't just from ourselves in this lifetime, but has carried in the lineage of men for hundreds and thousands of years. Like we were talking about at the fire last night, it's like, can we pause and take space for the first time for many of us to actually listen and be like, oh, I can either continue on this path and just try to deal with it and just maybe hope it goes away, or do things that mask it or alleviate the symptoms, or I look at it right in the face, like we were saying at the fire, of like, hey, if we don't do something, then these patterns keep going, these destructive patterns of rage and violence. And it's men who go to war. It's men who are doing the fighting and the oppression, and the women aren't doing that. So at some point, we have to come together and take responsibility without shame and without guilt, and just be like, hey, this is what's here and it's inside all of us. And if we don't change this, then things will just get worse, just like the symptoms do with disease. So it's so important for men to uh, realize the coping patterns that they've come up with. Like, and it's not easy. It sucks to look at your life and be like, I've been running away from myself. I've been coping for 20 years. But the pain has to be felt, and to do it to doing that together in a space like this where the energy has a chance to clear and you're in nature and you can slow down enough to and be in support of all the other guys around you. Like, that's the sauce, that's the medicine, that's the way that we're meant to do it. If you're just like at home trying to figure it out and you're up in your head, it doesn't work like that. This is the Aquarian age. We're all coming together to move forward. And man, like doing these retreats, my favorite thing is to see these guys that come in and they're rigid, they're stiff, they're stressed out, so much tension. And then after like day two, and then all the way till the end, they're cracked open. They're back to who they are. They're laughing. They're hilarious. They're telling jokes. They're free in their movement. They're the real self. And then it's like we're all celebrating that together. It's like, who are you without all the bullshit? That's what I'm interested in. I think we're all interested in that. Like we were saying last night at the fire, these masks that are so unconscious, we think that we're them. And when you finally take those off, it might be a little scary sometimes, but you're with other guys that are doing the same thing, and it's like, oh, this feels right. This is who I am. And it doesn't matter if you're a truck driver, if you're a CEO, whatever walk of life you're operating in, we all get to do this. We all have the same baggage and storylines expressed in different ways inside of us. And unless we pause and come and do this and be in a very intentional space for that, um, the pattern wins, and we're essentially slaves to our own emotions. So that's that's why I do this. I didn't think my life would go in that direction, but I come into this and I'm like, this is all I just want to be in this experience all the time. And I know the other guys that come here, they feel the same way. They're like, oh shit, that's what this is. Okay. Yeah.
It's wild to tap on how so much like oppression and war happens from the men of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like women leaders who perpetuate those things.
No.
Like, why, you know, something that came to mind before coming here for me was like, if the work that we do here as men doesn't get integrated back to like the women of the world
Yep.
and go and serve them,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not men's work.
Right.
Like, so how would you how do you think this work of men affects the feminine? How would you hope that it lands for like the women of the world?
Mm. Oh man, that is like, whew. When a man has come back to his heart and he's actually operating in his intuition, which is the feminine side of consciousness, then he's able to hold space and actually feel what the woman's feeling and like be on that level. She's got that naturally way more. We've been kind of conditioned away from that. So when two people are now sharing in that frequency of the heart, it's you're in that oneness, you're in the compassion, you see the real her, and she feels safe to be who she is. And that has, because men have been trapped in that type of conditioning and disconnected from the heart, it puts women into protection mode. It makes them shut down their feminine, and they are operating at a way lower capacity than who they are. There's nothing, we all know it. There's nothing more beautiful and captivating than a woman who's fully expressed in her feminine and feels free to be who she is. And there's a power there. And I would say these men's retreats are incredible, but the evolution that I see is like we do the work here, and then we'll have intentional spaces where we come together as men and women, and we heal together. And the men will actually be able to receive that because they've done their own work and they've gotten to a level of presence where the trigger can't just like take over and get activated with women. So it's the wholeness of everything. And as part of this evolution, this Aquarian age, this massive turning of the story of humanity that we're all in right now and playing a part of, we get to all come to the table together, and we'll see it. Like women are going to be in leadership positions now. And it's going to be the men are going to be in a sort of like, to me, a surrender to that, and realize like they're the ones tuned into the earth way more than we are. And we're just creating a safe space for them to start leading in that way. Like we're leading in certain ways, but then they're leading in their own way. And it's a balance. And that's what this age is about too. It's a balance of the masculine and the feminine. It's not the scale tipped too far one way or the other. And I know that within myself, if I have a balance between my own masculine and feminine principles, oh, it's just so peaceful there. It's so, your intuition's now leading the way instead of your mind trying to navigate all of this. It can't do it. It's making it impossible for men to navigate life in the mental plane. There's way too much information. There's way too much processing that's going on. It's forcing us to bring these two together. And these spaces where my intention is to cultivate that, where it's like, hey, bro, there's a whole new way going on. And if you tap into it, you get to leave the insanity of what's going on up in your mind, and you get to just feel and be in the flow of the day and relax and trust that everything's just going to come through you and you're going to know what to do. It's not like you're sitting on a couch like, oh, I'm in my feminine energy and like I'm just here in the day. It's like, no, you're very much activated, and it's going to give you direction and instructions, and you're going to want to create, you're going to want to express, you're going to want to be out in the world participating. So there's this funny idea that men have, like, well, if I go into my feminine, like I'm just going to sit there and not do anything. It's like, no, it's the opposite. So I think these things start to eliminate so much stigma. And like I said, every walk of man is meant to come into a space like this, because if you don't, the resistance is just going to build up. You're going to stay in your old story, and the pain's going to build up enough at some point where everything's going to break. You'll get the disease, you'll lose the career, you'll lose the marriage, your family life breaks apart. And we don't have to do it that way anymore. We can see that coming and be like, all right, I got to do something about this. Um, and it's not just a bunch of spiritual hippie guys like running around in the forest. It's we're there's a deeper knowing within all of us, and we laugh and we say ridiculous things. We tell stories. We're around the fire. We're very much doing like manly activities, but there's a spiritual component of it that we all resonate with. And when all the stuff's out of the way, you can actually receive that because your brain's not going crazy. And that's why we're doing this, and what a gift it is to the women of the world to start to feel safe again in their marriage, in the men in their lives, and they're not like scared to walk down the street. And men are unpredictable. It's like that's how you create a safe world. And why would we not do that? And the only reason we don't is because we're terrified of facing the demons in here. But as always, when you actually face them, it's the Wizard of Oz effect. You realize it was a scared little thing behind the curtain and you had the power the whole time. And then you get to see who you are without it. So I get super stoked on this. It's like you can feel it. It's here. We finally reached that point. And I pray that men have the courage to walk past the stigma, the resistance, oh, that looks gay, like bunch of guys doing this, whatever the judgment is, and realize like, oh, that's the pattern within me that's trying to keep me from accessing my freedom and my power and my truth. Oh, I see that pattern keeping me away from that to try to protect me from having to face the thing that as a kid devastated me: insecurity, lack of control, all of that stuff. And then you realize you have more power and control than ever, actually. Yeah.
Through the surrender.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, it's funny how there seems to be a bit of a perception from the outside looking at this container that this is like you said, kind of hippie new age stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like going out on a limb and culturally just like feels uncomfortable to people, but in so many ways what we're doing here has been done through thousands of years of our past.
Yeah.
And is like baked into us. Like we, on a primal level, like that instinct turns on to be able to like open up and center in ourselves when we're in a container like this and around a fire, unplugged from technology.
Yeah.
In nature, deep breathing, sweating. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how many times do people in the modern world get the opportunity to just drop into that and be like carried for a week in a rhythm of things that are going to nourish them in that way?
They don't. And that's the crazy part of this technological age, this information age, is we're so homogenized, we're so domesticated. So many men are, it's one thing like, all right, you play sports, you go to the gym, like that's what I hear a lot. Like, oh, I go to the gym for that. That's my church. And I'm like, that's cool, man. I go to the gym too. I need that. But that's so far away from, like you said, our primal ancestral instinct to take a pause, take time out, disconnect from all the distractions so that we can receive what we need and we can come back to that natural state that we've forgotten very deep. We are very much in a deep place of amnesia. And like you said, by even just being on lands like this for a couple of days, it starts to come back online. And you're like, oh, and I've seen it so many times. We get activated, we remember, and we're so fully like back in our power, right? And then we go back out into the world, and then the patterns, the old frequencies, the day-to-day fast-paced speed, all the distractions and the responsibilities, like they come in and they just swallow you back up, and then all of a sudden you're right back in it. So it's so powerful and important to, when we leave here with a blank slate that we've created, like, how can I keep this fire lit? How can I keep this thing stoked and not and see the patterns trying to come back and grab me and make me forget again? How can I stay conscious? How can I stay present and aware and keep that fire glowing, that life force moving, so that I can remain in that power and uh, be guided by the intuition and have an amazing time in life. Enjoy yourself instead of like just constantly looping and stress, and I got to do this. Like, why are we even here? I would rather be dead than that. That sounds intense to say that, but it's true. It's like, what? That's not life. That's insane. That's insanity that we've normalized, especially with the work hustle culture. It's like, that is insane. Let's all laugh at it. We all got caught in it. And now let's do something about it. Let's take this in a new direction. Let's do it together. This isn't Wolf of Wall Street time anymore. This is like this is let's get back to nature, reconnect to the earth, reconnect to our soul. Why am I here? How good can this get? How good can I feel? How epic can my relationships be? And to have a circle of men around you that are all in that same place, and you're sharing ideas, and you're in your dharma, and you're feeling good about yourself, and all the men around you are supporting you and walking that same path. What could be better than that? But instead, the pattern is like isolate, figure it out, work, grind, hustle, make money, climb the ladder. And that, thank God, is going away. And we're just now opening up to this new story, and it starts in places like this. And it's the honor of my life to share that with other guys. And again, see the light come back to their face, the stress melt away, the mask come off. And it's like, that's who he is. All right. And it's not, if you could, some places maybe has a more new age feel, hippie feel to it. For me, it's a blend of everything. It's like a balance of everything. And we want to be grounded and integrated in the masculine, in the feminine, not too far on one side or the other. And it's we gotta be super aware of the judgment. Where am I judging things? Which again is just the underlying pattern of protection to try to stop you from seeing the truth and letting go of that control that you're desperate to cling on to because you don't see the freedom on the other side of that. But when you got a bunch of homies together, we're like, oh man, the freedom's right here. Let's do this. And you actually experience it, you can't go back because you know it's there and you're like, oh shit. When you find yourself back in your bullshit, you remember. You're like, oh, I'm in it again. Okay, time for another retreat, or time for me to go on a 2-day hike and reconnect.
Or reach out to one of the people you met here.
Reach out to one of the guys. Have accountability and support. That's so huge. These are great, but if you don't carry it on and continue it, then it doesn't really mean too much. So for all the men who are like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? I feel lost. Here we go. It's right in front of us. You deal with your unique baggage that life has given to you, that your soul has given to you. You own it. All the places that you're triggered, all the places you don't feel free, all the places you're upset with yourself or life, that's your work. And then when you start to actively participate in that, then life comes to you instead of you trying to go out there and force it, and your dharma gets revealed. But you can't access that until you own and take responsibility for what's within you, and then the journey begins. And you don't have to go look for anything. And that's such an amazing place to be.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last one. It can be quick if you want. The version of you that existed before you ever came to a gathering like this, or was maybe unsure of coming to something like this. Could you speak to that?
Yeah. All right. The version of me before I found myself in this space.
And you can speak like to that version of you.
Yeah. He was very much a scared little boy, a hurt teenager who was terrified of responsibility, who was just trying to fit in and just trying to get by, like just survive. And I found myself deep in that place and just looking around. And I'm like, really, is this it? Like, this is what this actually is? Like, we're on this beautiful, like, Garden of Eden that's just, like, traveling through space and the galaxy. And here I am, like, on a computer like this and stressed out all the time and barely paying my bills and just like a fraction of myself, and knowing that inside of me, but not knowing how to get to it. And that was incredibly frustrating and difficult. And my heart goes out to him because he had to get to a level of pain where he's like, I'll do anything to find truth. But then that was the start of the journey. The pain, it's like the story of the prodigal son of like, you got to go into the pig slough. I was homeless out of my car for a while. And in that process, it made me search for that truth. And then, as you know, the man who seeks, he shall find. And it led me on that path. But, you know, just caught up in the day to day, 40-hour work weeks in the office, partying on weekends, maybe having some fun in between, but like no thought for myself. I was in a structure, right? I had no autonomy, no like actual, I wasn't leading my life at all. My job told me what to do. Oh, maybe I'll buy a house someday, I'll get married. But I never really checked in with, oh, what would it look like if I was the creator fully of my experience? And what would I be doing if I could choose what to do? And holy shit, that's a process to allow that level of freedom inside of you. Because then it's like, it's very overwhelming. It's like, wow, what do I even do with this? But you have to start there to start to unravel all of the shadows that want to keep you in the safety, in the comfort, in the convenience, in the programming. Because that part doesn't want to die. The ego doesn't want to die. It wants to stay in the driver's seat. And now I'm so grateful that my soul, with so much compassion, is like, all right, buddy, we'll do it one hand at a time. Like, I'm not ripping the control away from you. We'll do it slow and with love. But hey, you're going to go over here in the driver's seat, and I'm going to drive, and you're going to love it. And it's going to be way more fun and enjoyable. And you don't have to control things anymore. You don't have to keep us safe. Like, I got it now. And it's that process that I think so many of us are going through right now. And I know it's freaky and it's scary, but with the support of other guys, especially ones who have gotten farther along on that process, they can anchor you in. So you have contacts, and it's like, all right, this is how it looks. This is the chrysalis experience of going from a butterfly or a caterpillar awareness to the butterfly. And death has to occur in between on different levels. And we're all going to die anyways, and it goes by real fast. So why not allow that to happen now so you get to experience who you really are for the rest of the way? So that's like my big invitation to guys. And if I could go back and talk to 24-year-old Sean, I'd say, like, I love you, man. There's so much waiting for you. So much epic stuff you could never have imagined. And it's all waiting for you on the other side of that. You have everything that you need, and just release that fear. Find the guys that are going to hold you accountable, that are going to support you. Get the coaching, create the system, get out into nature, and just naturally let the process unfold. There's nothing to fight. There's nothing to think about. It's all just happening through you. And you can relax into that. I don't know if you would have fully believed me, but it would be a gradual, like, I get it. I get the fear. It's like a dog that is you're rescuing from a shelter. In the first, week or two, it's going to like not trust you, and it's going to be like growling, and it doesn't let you pet it. But then eventually it sees you're feeding it, and it's in a safe environment, and it's being loved. The energy of love is there. Then it starts to open up, and it's like, oh, all right, I'm not going to be abused. I'm not fighting for my life anymore. And then it just starts to become like this beautiful, loving pet that sleeps in your bed and follows you everywhere. And it's like this really incredible thing. I think that's like one of the best analogies. Our ego will do the same thing on the other side of that process. So it's like we just have to hold space for that, you know?
Epic, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.